Hi, I'm James Schillinglaw, and I'm here at Baha Mar in Nassau, and I'm here with John Cox, who's the Director of Arts and Culture.
Arts and Culture.
Arts and Culture. Did you ever have a resort that had a Director of Arts and Culture? Well, there's a very good reason why, and we're going to find out about that and a whole lot more on Insider Travel Report. Now, John, first of all, it's great to be here, and I have actually been here, I think about when the time you opened. This is a gallery within the hotel, right?
Yes, this is our newest gallery. It's called Echo. We opened it in October, so it's been open about a year.
Yeah, I was here at the beginning. We had a reception here. It's amazing, and you have all different kind of really local art here, right?
Yeah, I mean, this is just a part of the puzzle of the big initiative for the entire resort.
Okay.
So we curate the entire resort with Bahamian art. We've been here for the past 6.5 years doing that. And so this is one of the platforms that we created that allows us to just do that, but also collaborate with other aspects of the local arts community, like not only visual arts. Right. We also work with people in the theater world, people in the music world. We have a partnership with the National Art Gallery of the Bahamas, and it's part of it's a part of the initiative that we have for the Resort Foundation.
Okay.
We have 3 pillars. One of them is culture, one is community, and one is conservation. And sometimes it's difficult to separate those things because they all kind of go hand in hand. But I'm the chair of the culture arm of the Resort Foundation, which means that, myself and my team are at the helm of giving access to anybody who's in the creative kind of industry and community, full access to exercise their practice and kind of, gain as much exposure.
And you give them exposure in this gallery, really?
In this gallery, yeah, and we give them access to do it, and we have partners. We don't work with everybody, but we have select groups that we work with that we think are good fits, and we do a lot of programming.
Now, what's your background? You actually are an artist yourself, right?
I am, yeah. So I have an art practice. I went to art school. I went to the Rodin School of Design in the 90s. And when I finished that, when I graduated in 96, I became a faculty member at the then College of the Bahamas, and I worked in the art department for several years, maybe I think 13 years. Mm-hmm. And then in 2002 was the onset of the National Art Gallery of the Bahamas. Mm-hmm. So there was a little bit of an overlap there. I was seconded from the college to the National Gallery to do museum education. Mm-hmm. For a little while, and I went back and forth, and then I ended up being the chief curator at the National Gallery of the Bahamas.
Well, that's pretty impressive. So you have a great background for this, and when did this particular position become available? And were you sort of surprised that a resort wanted to have this?
Yeah, I mean, it was surprising because I don't think it's necessarily that everybody, like you started off with, expresses that they don't expect for there to be any arts and culture department at a resort. And in the early days when I was at the National Gallery, the resort wanted to actually employ the National Gallery to be the curators for the property. Okay. And at that time I was the chief curator, and it just so happened that the way it evolved, I ended up being the director for the art program even when the resort was under construction.
Well, I think I was here right after it opened, and I do believe we may have even met because you did have art around before you had this gallery. Oh, yeah. You had art all around the property, right?
Yeah, I mean we've had thousands of reproductions and 1,000 original works on the property before we even opened Echo last year. So Echo is just it's just more art and more culture, but it gives us a bigger platform because we're able to host different types of events, which help us. In my mind, metaphorically, I see the Bahamas, its identity is largely informed by hospitality.
Right. Well, it is, absolutely. You have these giant resorts, but to my knowledge, some of the other resorts don't have a program like this, which is pretty amazing.
Right, and so I think the program, what it does is, I think the whole idea of tourism is the major highway that allows people from the world or in the world to define and experience the Bahamas.
How do you decide what works get exhibited in this gallery?
Well, I mean, we have a curatorial team. I have a team of about 15 people, 14 people. And so a part of the team, we have a curatorial arm. And so we sit down and we go like, oh, this is a good artist to work with, or this Junkanoo group is good, or, here's a good exhibition that we could maybe travel here, or, Avery Wright is my curatorial manager. And she used to also work at the National Gallery. So we kind of come at it with, I think we are kind of custodians of different doctrines. Right. I think there's a part of us that has this kind of rigorous museum kind of characteristic, but then we also
a little bit of your background, right?
Yeah, but we also need to meet people where they are, right? So we recognize that people are on vacation and they didn't really come here to get a PhD in Bahamian art. However, the platform that we do have to create this intersection that I was talking about before, everybody sees the Bahamas through the lens of tourism. Right. If that's a highway, what Bahamar has allowed us to do is to create another highway that intersects with that, right, which is an art and culture highway. Okay. So we get to kind of, capture quite a few of those people who are coming here who probably don't expect to get this. They come and they go, I had no idea this was here. So for us, we're trying to create this paradigm shift where more people start to associate art and culture with the Bahamas than only just the beach and the sun and the sand.
Well, that's it. If you get off the beach and you come in here, it's a totally different experience. And are a lot of these artworks for sale?
Yeah, so in Echo they are for sale, and then in our other gallery downstairs, the Current, which is really the name of the department is really the Current, right, and the Echo is kind of like the big little sister of the Current. But yes, what's in Echo? Most of it is for sale. Everything in the Current is for sale. Some of the works on the property are also for sale, but a lot of them are a part of our collection. Right. And then we have a partnership with a major art collector called Dawn Davies, and she loaned us hundreds and hundreds of her works for the property. So those are obviously not for sale.
Yeah, no, it's amazing because I do think that people who come down here and really are interested in art, they're kind of go through this gallery and say, wait a minute, I love that piece, I want to buy that.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and that's what we try to do. I mean, as we've curated, Grand Hyatt has 1,800 rooms. Rosewood has around 200. SLS has about 450. We are involved in curating a lot. The lion's share of those rooms are filled with Bahamian art. Wow. And so even there's a part of what we do that kind of helps build an industry, because I think with the decision to make Bahamar kind of woven together with Bahamian art, it means that there needs to be a lot of art to cover the square footage, and it means that the artists need to step up to the game and say, well, I need you, because we need Bahamian art to satisfy all these moments. And so what that has done is, I think it's forced certain artists to evolve their practice in a way that it's more professional and meets the demands of a broader kind of demand expectation, and I think that's all good for us.
No, absolutely, and it really is a surprising thing. I was surprised a year ago when I came and we had a little reception in this gallery with Echo, and then I'd seen the art before when I was here on property, but then to come back and see a whole different collection that you've now curated. Now, what's your hope for this program going forward? What are you going to be doing heading as you expand?
I mean, one of the things we have on the horizon is we want to start a Caribbean art fair, like a contemporary art.
You're doing something.
So coming up during the Culinary and Arts Festival, which is an annual festival that we have here at the resort that is exactly what it sounds like. It's half culinary and half art. Right. The art part of it, we are starting a fair called Fuse. And the fair is not only for Bahamian art, it's for regional, it's for the region. Okay. So the first iteration, we have 7 countries represented. We have 20 booths, which is modest for an art fair, but we're starting, and we have we have a long several year plan. But really what we like to see is Bahamian and Caribbean art become kind of, the manager of its own kind of agency, right? So we want to see and nurture the development of the narrative on the soil from which it's inspired.
Well, it is absolutely. And the Caribbean art, I've been around the Caribbean a lot, and it's amazing art all over the place. Now, roughly when are the dates of that event?
That's the 28th and 29th of October, that weekend.
Just the weekend, and then you have food. and
yeah, there's going to be amazing food, lots of celebrity chefs. I mean, outstanding weekend, very, very good time. But we're excited about the chefs, because there's some amazing partners there. Marcus Samuelson is a great friend and an art supporter.
Yeah, Marcus is wonderful. I've eaten at his restaurant. His original restaurant in Harlem. I know that.
Yeah, he's the best. He's super supportive. He's been supportive of me and the team for the past couple of years. So we're really excited to kick off Fuse and to do that. And I mean, that only just kind of fits into the ecosystem of what we're trying to do here with Echo, with the Current, with Bahamian Art, with trying to inform the experiences and expectations that tourists have when they come to the Bahamas.
Well, this is beyond their expectations, I think, is what's happening. Now, we go out to about 126,000 travel advisors who are booking their clients into this resort and booking them to the Bahamas. Anything else you want to tell them about your program here?
I mean, I think it's just that we're an open book. You know, we're writing the script as we go along, and I think it's rich. It's filled with Bahamian, complexity and kind of diversity. I think there's so much about the Bahamas that people don't recognize, and by extension, they don't recognize or don't understand about the region. And so I think that the visual arts and the arts in general capture the nuances and the complexities of this land better than any other in any other sector. And so I think we just want to make that a main part of the ethos of the Bahama experience. We want to be the meat, not just the seasoning.
Absolutely, and you definitely are that, and it's amazing. It's an amazing experience. I mean, if it's a rainy day or a hot day and you want to come in here to this gallery and see this, it's just amazing to see. Now, obviously, you go to bahamar.com. Any other websites that you have for this program?
Yeah, so we have the current. So we have the current.bahamar.com, which is our own website. It's a standalone site that you can go to and see all of the works that we have on display. We have the retail, we have the experiences, the classes that you can take. The tours, so it's a building platform that we have going on. And so I'm sure when Fuse gets going, that's going to have its own kind of platform itself, because that is dynamic. That's a 12-month out of the year kind of exercise to corral artists and galleries and keep things going.
So this is not going to be a one-time deal. You're going to keep doing this.
We got to go. We told Mr. Davis, we said we have to, if we're doing it, if we're doing it once, we got to do it 5, 6, 7 times in order for us to, for it to be the true litmus test of whether or not it was worth it.
Well, John, I want to thank you for taking the time. I met you a couple days ago. I think I met you before at one point,
right.
When you were giving a tour when I was here. Because this is about the 4th or 5th time I've been down here for different conferences. We're down here for the International Luxury Travel Market, which is first year it's been here. Used to be in Mykoba, and it's been a great show so far. We only got a day left, and we were lucky enough to have open our time here with John in this wonderful gallery and learn all about this wonderful art program. Again, thank you so much.
Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it.
I'm James Schillinglaw, and this is Insider Travel Report.